My friend, let me tell you something straight from the heart. This time we're living in is not just another chapter, it's a reset, it's a new beginning, it's a test that forced every single one of us to rethink how we live, how we work, how we connect, and how we create meaning. And the question is not what happened to you in the last few years, the question is what are you going to do with what happened? What meaning are you going to attach to it? Because if you let the pandemic be a prison, then you'll live in fear. But if you let it be a lesson, if you let it be a platform, if you let it be a catalyst, then it becomes fuel to live your best life. And that is the choice every human being has right now. You can either fall back to old patterns, or you can step into a completely new standard for yourself. The first key to living your best post-pandemic life is to master your state, because during those days of uncertainty, isolation, fear, and negativity, most people lived in a reactive state, scrolling through bad news, worrying about what's next, losing control of their emotions, and forgetting that the quality of your life is the quality of your emotional state. So the very first thing you must do every day is to take command of your energy, shift your physiology, breathe, move, get into motion, because emotion is created by motion. And when you command your body, you command your mind. And when you command your mind, you command your life. So stop waiting for conditions to change. Stop waiting for the world to go back to normal. Because normal was never the goal, growth is the goal, joy is the goal, energy is the goal, and the way you get there is by making state management your number one discipline, not once in a while, but every single day, because the pandemic taught us that uncertainty is permanent, so the only way to live fully is to make your inner world unshakable no matter what happens on the outside. The second key is connection, and I don't just mean digital connection. I don't mean the endless messages, the Zoom calls, the likes and follows. I mean real human connection. The thing we were all starving for when the world locked down. The thing that reminded us we're not designed to live alone. We're not designed to live in fear of one another. We're designed to love, to share, to serve, to grow together. And when that was stripped away, it showed us the truth. The ultimate resource in life is not money, not technology, not convenience, it's people, it's community, it's relationships that lift you when you fall and celebrate when you rise. So in this new chapter, you must be intentional about who you spend time with, because energy is contagious, fear is contagious, negativity is contagious, but so is courage, so is passion, so is love, so is joy, and you cannot live your best post-pandemic life if you surround yourself with people who drain you, who shrink you, who pull you back to small thinking. You've got to surround yourself with people who remind you of who you are at your best. People who challenge you to grow. People who call out your greatness. People who make you laugh, who make you feel alive. And if you don't have that circle yet, then create it. Serve first. Bring value first. Give first. Because when you pour into others, you attract the kind of people who pour back into you. And in the end, love and connection are what make life meaningful. The third key is health, and I'm not just talking about avoiding illness. I'm talking about vibrant, unstoppable energy, because if the pandemic taught us anything, it's that your body is not negotiable. Your immune system is your first line of defense. Your vitality determines the quality of your life, and too many people spent those months numbing themselves with comfort food, with endless streaming, with inactivity, with habits that weaken instead of strengthen. And now you have a choice. Do you carry those habits forward, or do you build a new standard for your body, your fuel, your sleep, your movement? Because listen, you cannot live your best life if you wake up tired, if you're sluggish, if your body is screaming for energy. Your dreams demand a body that can keep up. Your purpose demands a body that can perform. So it's time to upgrade your rituals. Drink water like your life depends on it, because it does. Eat foods that strengthen instead of poison. Move daily like it's oxygen. Sleep like a warrior preparing for battle. And treat your body as the gift it is, because you only get one. And when your health is strong, your mind is sharp, your emotions are stable, your energy is abundant, and everything else in life becomes easier. Health is the ultimate wealth, and if you make it your priority, you can create the energy to conquer anything. The fourth key is growth, because the truth is, pain without progress is suffering, and what made the pandemic so painful for many was that they stopped growing. They felt stuck, trapped, stagnant. But life is not about staying safe. Life is about expanding. Life is about becoming more. And if you want your post-pandemic life to be your best life, you must commit to growth like never before. You must ask yourself every day, how am I expanding? How am I getting better? How am I stretching beyond my limits? Because happiness doesn't come from achieving goals alone. It comes from growing into the kind of person who can achieve them. So whether it's reading, learning, investing in your skills, practicing gratitude, mastering your craft, building your business, deepening your relationships, whatever form it takes, growth must be your obsession, because the moment you stop growing, you start dying. And the pandemic reminded us that time is short, that tomorrow is not guaranteed. So why waste a single day not becoming the best version of yourself? Why waste a single moment in fear when you can spend it building courage? Why waste a single year surviving when you were born to thrive? Growth is the oxygen of life, and when you grow, everything you touch grows with you. And the fifth key, perhaps the most powerful of all, is contribution, because at the end of the day, life is not about me. It's about we. It's about what you give. It's about the difference you make. It's about serving something bigger than yourself, because during the pandemic, so many people realized that chasing status, chasing possessions, chasing comfort doesn't fulfill. What fulfills is meaning. What fulfills is knowing your life matters to someone else. What fulfills is giving your time, your love, your skills, your resources to uplift others. And contribution is not about waiting until you have millions of dollars, or until you're perfect, or until everything is easy. Contribution is about doing what you can with what you have right now. It's about smiling at a stranger, encouraging a friend, helping someone who's struggling, volunteering, creating, teaching, mentoring, inspiring. And when you live from a place of contribution, you are never empty, because life supports those who support life. The more you give, the more alive you feel. The more you give, the more abundance flows back to you. The more you give, the more your spirit expands, and that is what living your best life truly means, because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, and fulfillment comes only from growing and giving. So my friend, if you want to live your best post-pandemic life, don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the world to calm down. Don't wait for certainty, because the only certainty in life is that it's uncertain. The only guarantee is that we're all on borrowed time, so why not live fully now? Why not raise your standards now? Why not commit to energy, to love, to health, to growth, to contribution, and create a life that excites you every morning and fulfills you every night? Because you have been given another chance. You have survived what others did not. You have been handed a gift. And the question is, what will you do with it? Will you go back to sleepwalking through life, or will you rise up? Will you live small, or will you live fully? Will you let fear decide, or will you let your soul decide? Because this is your time, this is your season, this is your chance to write the story of a life that mattered, a life that inspired, a life that gave more than it took, and a life that was truly lived, not just survived. And here's the truth, my friend, everything you've been through, every challenge, every setback, every loss, every moment of doubt during those years, it was not there to destroy you, it was there to shape you. It was there to remind you of how much power you actually carry inside of you, because the human spirit is unbreakable when it decides to rise, and now more than ever, this world doesn't need people who are simply surviving. It needs leaders, it needs creators, it needs people who will say, enough is enough. I will not go back to living in fear. I will not go back to living on autopilot. I will not go back to waiting for circumstances to decide my future. I will take charge. I will create meaning. I will live intentionally, because the greatest tragedy would not be what happened during the pandemic, The greatest tragedy would be if you learned nothing from it. If you let that pain go to waste, if you slipped back into the same patterns and forgot the lessons life was screaming at you. And what were those lessons? The lesson that life is fragile and time is short, that health is not optional but essential, that connection is oxygen for the soul, that growth is what makes life exciting, and that giving is the only path to true fulfillment. And the deeper lesson is that you are far stronger than you believed. You can endure isolation, you can face uncertainty, you can survive financial storms, emotional storms, and still rise. And if you can endure that, then what else is possible for you? What else are you capable of? What dreams have you been holding back because of fear, because of doubt, because of waiting for the right time? Because let me tell you something, there is no right time, there is only now, and if not now, then when? Because if the pandemic showed us anything, it's that tomorrow is never promised, so you must seize today with everything you've got. Now, let's take this even deeper, living your best post-pandemic life is not about just 5 keys, it's about embodying those keys in every area of your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your health, in your finances, in your spirit, because the truth is, you cannot separate them. Life is an interconnected web. Your energy affects your relationships, your health affects your career, your growth affects your wealth, your contribution affects your fulfillment, and if one area is suffering, it eventually bleeds into the others, so the ultimate goal is integration, creating a life that is not fragmented, but whole, where you are aligned, where you are congruent, where you are living in harmony with your values, your standards, and your vision. And speaking of vision, here's what most people lost during the pandemic. They lost sight of their vision. They got so caught up in survival that they forgot to dream. They forgot to imagine a future bigger than their fears. And if you want to live your best life now, you must reclaim your vision. Not just small goals, not just paying bills, not just making it through the week, but a compelling vision that excites you, that wakes you up in the morning with fire, that pulls you forward when life tries to push you down, because without a vision, people perish. Without a vision, you drift. Without a vision, you settle. But with a vision, you expand. With a vision, you endure. With a vision, you find meaning in the pain and fuel in the challenges. So I ask you, what is your vision now? Not the one you had before, not the one you outgrew, but the one that aligns with who you are becoming, because this is not about going back to who you were. This is about becoming someone new, someone greater, someone unstoppable. And here's another key that will carry you forward. Discipline, because let's be real, inspiration feels good, motivation feels good, but discipline is what creates results. And during those months of chaos, discipline was tested, routines collapsed, people lost their structure, and without discipline, people spiral into weakness. But when you commit to discipline, when you commit to daily rituals that strengthen your mind, body, and spirit, then no matter what storms come, you remain grounded, you remain powerful, you remain consistent, because success is not built on what you do once, it's built on what you do every day, the habits, the rituals, the standards that you refuse to compromise on. And if you want a post-pandemic life that is extraordinary, then your rituals must be extraordinary, your standards must be extraordinary, your discipline must be unshakable, because the difference between people who dream and people who achieve is discipline. And then there's courage, because my friend, you cannot live your best life hiding. You cannot live your best life playing small. You cannot live your best life waiting until it's safe, because nothing is safe. Risk is everywhere. Uncertainty is permanent. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is deciding to move forward in spite of fear. Courage is taking action when your knees are shaking. Courage is speaking your truth when your voice trembles. Courage is investing in your dream when there are no guarantees. And the more you practice courage, the stronger you become, and soon, what once terrified you becomes normal. What once looked impossible becomes inevitable. And that is how you expand your life, by acting in courage daily, not waiting for it, but cultivating it. Another piece to this puzzle is gratitude, because during the pandemic people either lived in fear or they lived in gratitude. They either focused on what was missing or they focused on what they still had. And the ones who thrived were the ones who said, yes, it's hard, yes, it's uncertain, but I'm alive, I'm breathing, I have another chance, I have people I love, I have opportunities to serve, and gratitude is the antidote to suffering. Gratitude shifts your focus. Gratitude rewires your brain. Gratitude creates joy regardless of circumstances. And if you make gratitude a daily practice, if you begin every morning and end every night with gratitude, then your life will feel abundant even before you achieve anything, and from that state of abundance, you attract even more. Now let's talk about wealth, because for many, the pandemic shattered their financial security. It shook industries, it eliminated jobs, it created fear around money, but here's the truth. Wealth is not just about money, it's about resourcefulness, it's about creativity, it's about being able to add value in any economy, in any environment. And if you want to thrive now, you must upgrade your financial mindset. You must stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a creator. Stop thinking about scarcity and start thinking about abundance. Stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them, because money flows to value, and the more value you create, the more wealth flows into your life. So instead of worrying about what you lost, focus on what you can build, focus on the skills you can develop, focus on the problems you can solve, because this new world belongs to those who adapt, those who innovate, those who refuse to stay stuck in old ways. And if you master your wealth mindset, you will not just survive financially, you will prosper. And finally, my friend, remember this. Life is always happening for you, not to you, even when it feels unfair, even when it hurts, even when it makes no sense. Life is shaping you, testing you, preparing you. And if you choose to see every challenge as a gift, every struggle as a lesson, every setback as a setup, then you will never be a victim. You will always be empowered, because meaning creates life, and you have the power to assign meaning to everything that happens. So why not choose a meaning that empowers you? Why not choose a meaning that fuels you? Why not choose a meaning that makes you stronger? Because the story you tell yourself becomes your life. And if you tell yourself you are weak, you will live weak. But if you tell yourself you are powerful, you will live powerful. And right now, the world needs your power, the world needs your light, the world needs your contribution. So don't hold back, don't dim your flame, don't wait for perfect conditions. Rise now, shine now, live now, because this is your time, this is your life, and it is waiting for you to claim it fully.